welcome back to another episode of the Squawk and C's podcast, your favorite Pokemon podcaster's favorite Pokemon podcast. And once again, we're back at you guys here with another episode this week. My name is Kyle Koopa Rios. I am one of your talking heads here on this show, and I am joined, as I am every week, by my co-host and very good friend, the Pony Bottle Champ, George Fabre. George, happy Tuesday. How you doing, buddy?
Was good with it, dude. I saw you a lot this weekend.
We spent far too much time together this weekend, as we usually do.
But this one, I mean, Sunday was a long, long day.
Yeah, you're telling me. It was.
I wouldn't trade it for the world, though. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it went from like, maybe I'll be there on Friday. Both of us like, maybe we'll be there. And then it was like, maybe I'll see you on Saturday. Probably not. But I'll see you on Sunday for sure. And then we saw each other for 3 straight days. So
correct.
That's usually how these plans go. But yeah, we're here with another episode for you guys this week. We're almost in double digits. Our podcast turns 10 in a couple of weeks. But until then, we're at my favorite number in the number escape, number 8. It's my lucky number.
Kobe.
Yeah. God bless him. God rest his soul. But yeah, we're going to talk about a little bit of everything that we usually do this week. We're going to talk about our weekly wrap-ups, talk about the weekend at hand. One of our friends won a cup, so that was cool. And then we're going to talk about Louisville, which is coming up this weekend. So we actually are going to try to get this episode out a little bit earlier, as we try to do for the regional tournaments. And we'll talk about some new cards that are coming out in our November set, which pre-releases for that start in like 2 or 3 weeks, so like that set's gonna come up on you real fast if you're not paying attention. And of course, we're gonna have our Squawk or C's this week, and it's a good one this week, keeping with the spooky Halloween theme. But yeah, as we do every week, George. I saw you a lot on this weekend, but how's your Monday and Tuesday going?
Well, I'm not gonna say it here, but I told you earlier, had a pretty rough week. Work. Sometimes heavy lays the crown. You got to make some tough decisions. So, little gloom. Is that the right word? I don't know. We're just gonna roll with it.
Gleam is shiny. Gloom is like, you're sad.
It's like shiny, gloomy, cruddy.
Shiny sadness?
Yeah, I don't know. Sounds like a Pokemon set. So other than that, it's been all right, though, man. Just worked from home the last 2 days. Got a lot done. How about you, man? I know you were off yesterday.
I actually did have to go into work yesterday. So I took an off day from existing because I was very tired. And,
gotcha.
The seasonal changes usually hit me pretty hard. So my allergies have been killing me. My throat's been scratchy. I am not sick, but I definitely feel myself, a little run down just because I've been kind of busy at home and with my job the last couple of days. So I'm doing okay, all things considered. And I'm sure that people are dying to know about our fantasy football updates this week. I lost in one of my leagues by 0.15 of a point this week. Literally lost by 1 point. Yeah, I would like to thank Derek Carr and Alvin Kamara for not showing up to work yesterday.
Oh, and those are your boys, too. That's
I am a
squad.
Saints fan, and those are my guys, and they let me down. Kyle Pitts showed up for, a week, and as a Marvin Harrison Jr. stock investor, I am punching the air. I am not having a great season right now in my big money league, so I'm not having fun, George. How'd you do this weekend? So
I crushed it. Yeah, absolutely crushed it. Really bounced back, and then on Sunday when we were watching the games, I was like a prophet. Was I not just calling everything that was happening in all those games?
You were seeing plays that telescopes can't see from space.
I don't know what got over me, but especially when we were watching the Mets game, I was like, it's going to be a strike fastball outside for a strike. I was like, he's going to get him on swinging, miss. He's going to KMO, strike him out
K
here.
on a strikeout. Yeah,
K, yeah, you got. I'm getting Pokemon and baseball mixed up here. KOs, but yeah, I was like, strikeout swinging here, change up inside, boom. Change up inside. I don't know. That Darius Slayton touchdown. I was like, this is going to be a touchdown in the corner right here. And boom, lo and behold. So I was just firing on all cylinders, except for at the Cup. But we did have somebody that was firing on all cylinders at the Cup, which I guess you're going to probably go into, right?
Yeah, absolutely. As we usually start the weeks off, we'll start with our weekly roundups. The biggest thing that happened to us this week is that we found a cup to go to this past Sunday at Bifrost Games in Manhattan, down in the Chelsea area of New York City. That's the West Side, right? Yeah, we established that's the West Side, East Side.
Beats me, brother. I have no idea where
That
we
was
were.
by time. It was close. We were
I
close
think we
to
were on
Times
the
Square.
east side. I think it's the east side.
We were on the East Side. Yeah,
Upper
I
east
think you're
side, I
right.
believe. Upper east side.
Yes. Yeah. Anyway, so we were over there.
UES.
Shout out.
Shout out.
No, but we were there. It was my first time going to the store. It's my first time going to New York, anything Pokemon related for the first time.
Same.
And it was a great time. The store was really, really nice. At no point did I ever felt cramped. Great little shop that they have down there, in New York. And in terms of how we played, we'll get to us. But one of our constituents, one of our other talking head idiots, number 9 player in Israel, and
Number
probably a little bit
five
high now.
Number 5.
He's number
now.
5. Number
Yeah,
5
it's
in
number
Israel
5
right
to
now.
you, sir. Number 5 to you.
Yeah, top 5 in Israel. Harel Mannheim. Big shout outs to our boy. Harel won the cup this weekend. So real proud of him. And it was fun to see, one of the boys taken home.
Yeah, and I also, speaking of Prophet, I told him, I was like, you're going to be like top 5 in Israel after this, or top 5, whatever that region is. I should probably know that, but it's like South America, right? Or,
it's like the Middle East. I think that's
Middle
technically
East.
the Middle
Why
East.
would it be South America?
Middle East.
What am I talking about? South
It's
Africa.
Middle East and South Africa.
That's
believe,
what
yeah.
South America. What am I talking about? Jesus, that's not even close. But yeah, like he's been playing that deck now for a while, and he was playing that same deck that got 9th in Baltimore, and then did well also in Dortmund. Came in 4th, I believe. But he wasn't playing that iteration because that plays double Irida. He was still rocking the Rotom. I've been playing around with the double Irida. I think that's a little better. I think you don't need Rotom. Also, kind of messes with your bench space.
We're talking about Palkia Dustnar, by the way. For those of you that inclined to
be sorry, in
case you haven't gathered, Harel won the cup with Palkia Dustnar, which is like the hot new deck of the last few weeks.
Yeah, thank you for clarifying that. Yeah, well, it's the deck that finished 9th and finished 4th, but yeah. So he's been playing for a while, and then I've been on Turbo Charizard for a while, and we kind of been debating which one's better, and he literally just perfected it, And I think right now it's really positioned well in the meta, especially seeing a lot of Terapagos. How much Terapagos was at that cup? I feel like everybody was playing it.
There was a lot. Terapagos is definitely really solidifying itself as a very good archetype right now, depending on which way you want to play it. I think the Dustar version is probably the best way to play the deck right now.
Yeah.
Just because it helps you correct a lot of problems that Terapagos has, given the way it has to play the game. You have to play with double turbo energies, so you're nuking your damage a bit, but adding in something like Dustnar to help correct your math, or in some instances board wipe your opponent, is very, very strong. And yeah, that list has proven to be pretty good. I think if you're looking to get into, if you're looking to play a deck that's like aggressive right now, that's definitely a good choice. But what did you run this weekend, George?
I played Raging Bolt, and fun fact, that was the first time I've ever played Raging Bolt. Not even on live. I just raw dogged it right to the tournament, and I only won one game. No surprise there. You can't just pick up a deck and go play in a cup, and it was like a pretty sweaty cup. I think there was like over 40 people, right? Like there was a lot of people there.
43 of us, I think.
Yeah, so that was a bold choice, but I've been playing it online, and I feel a lot better about it. But what did you play, Kyle? What did you rock?
I went to the cup with Goldango. I've been pretty much Lugia botting since Baltimore, and even before that, it's a deck I've just been playing to everything, because as much as I want to shake the Lugia bot allegations, I can't. And the deck continues to provide and be very good in the current landscape. I have until there's a format where I don't, until where Lugia is not a good choice to play, I will continue to play it. But for this weekend specifically, I was like, I kind of just wanted to like try something different. I brought Goldengo to our Friday local at Highlander Games, and I went 3-1 with it, which was fun. I played, for those curious, I played Yellow Van Camp's third place list from Dortmund. I just think he's the Golden God. He tells me to jump, I'll say how high, and I trust his judgment a lot. And when the deck got the set up, it's very much classic Goldengo 2-prize beat stick shenanigans. When I get to play the game, I have a puncher's chance. And when I didn't get to play the game, I didn't. I went 3-3. One of my losses was to Harrell, so I'll gladly fall on the sword if it means him getting to move on and secure the bag. But Goldengo's fun. Drawing cards is cool. I hit some pretty rough, weird matchups. I hit a Hydrapple EX and I hit Venomoth Frostlass. So I just got item locked to oblivion. I lost every coin flip that I played. I used continuous coin toss 5 times over the course of a 5. It was insane. When Goldengo doesn't get to go first, it actually feels like the worst deck in the planet. So I think the deck is still very good, if you're able to set up. But
you did leave out one point, though. You did beat the person round 1 that came in second in the whole tournament.
That's true, yeah. The guy that got second, I forget your name, bud, but it was a fun game. I got Iono to 1, and Hand Disruption's a lie, because I'm goated. But yeah, Goldengo provides. But the deck was fun. I don't regret my decision. I think it's in a really good spot right now because a lot of decks want to go first. So if you get to go first, you get to play the game. And even if you're going second, in most instances, your opponent is, unless you start Palkia or Pheasantipity, your opponent's only getting 1 prize card. So you then have the return opportunity to go 2-2-2 in your prize race. So you heard me wax poetic about Goldengo last week. It's a deck that I just like playing. It's one of my pet decks, and it will continue to be. So, but yeah, it was a fun little weekend. Top 16 got points. I got 17th because I got donked my last round. So that's the second time. That's the second time I've bubbled out of points this season at these like sanctioned events. So that kind of stinks. But the long season, I'm not gonna sweat too hard about it.
Yeah, we replace those anyway, so it's not even that big of a deal.
And also, I just want to point out for the folks at home, I think this is the second time where your first time playing a deck was to something with championship points on the line. Didn't you do this the first time you played Charizard too?
I do it all the time, man. I do it all the time. Psychopath. What can I say?
George for a long time was like a Lost Box and Gardevoir guy, and then after some talking and some coaching, we finally got George to play something like Charizard, which is like, you're going to get much more reward out of you wanting to play these big brains, moving parts decks. And we decided to go to a challenge. I think it was a cup. I don't remember. I think it was a cup. Yeah, because there's a top cut, so it was a cup. So we went to a cup in Philadelphia, and George just decides he's like, yeah, I'm just going to play Charizard. You never played a deck before. You played it maybe once beforehand.
I did play that one once beforehand, but it was like I had no business playing that in a cup for sure. And that was the new meta too. That was the new one where, which one was it? When all the Future Nation Pokemon came out.
That was Paradox Rift, yes.
Paradox Rift. So, yeah, it was it was right before that format.
No, it would have been Paradox Rift because Goldengo was legal. And Goldengo came out of Paradox Rift. Temporal Forces is the set that comes out after that. That's where Ace-Specs got introduced. So
I remember testing the new format beforehand and playing Future Box.
Yeah, because it was the rotation set was already coming. So we knew those cards were coming in the next set.
Oh, gotcha.
I think we were. I don't think Paradox Rift was. I don't think Paradox Rift was legal yet then, because I played Mew to that cup. So I think we were like right on the cusp of that becoming the next set.
Right before rotation, right?
No, Temporal Forces was rotation. So this would have been Obsidian Flame still, I think, then.
You got me, man. You got me. I have no idea.
I think, yeah, I'm like, it's like peaks and valleys. I'm like remembering parts of it, and then I'm misremembering parts of it. So anyway, bottom line is George loves to, take his one celebrity shot, and then it's like, all right, I got it. I figured it out.
I try it. I am definitely bold in that. But that being said, we're talking about rotation and new cards. There are a few new cards coming this way.
Well, before we get there, do you want to? Is there anything you want to say about the cup? Before we move on. So,
I mean, I don't have much to say other than congratulations, Pharrell. Well deserved. You're the man. I love you, and I'm very happy for you. But other than that, Bifrost, awesome host. Jeremy was the one that was the organizer there. Fantastic. The owner was very nice. And then all the judges did a stellar job as well. Definitely will be back. 5 stars. Will tell a friend. Absolutely.
Yeah, no, me too. Great shop. Love the experience. Another area's local scene, even though it's like still local for us. It's just that where it's, you have to cross a bridge and that's scary.
Oh, one thing I do want to say, free cup. What we had for breakfast.
Yes.
Was fantastic. We went to Russ and Daughters. I had a smoked tuna with vegan scallion cream cheese because I'm like a little lactose intolerant. I can't have real cream cheese. With wasabi fish roe on it and on an egg bagel. And man, let me tell you, that thing slapped. I have not had smoked tuna like in a breakfast sandwich form like that. That was pretty good. And then you went with what, the traditional lox and cream cheese, right?
Yeah, I went classic. Good bagels and lox is like really hard to come by. But Russ and Daughters is like a very famous Jewish deli. It was so good. Some of the freshest fish I think I've had on a bagel, and it was really good. I'm really glad we did that.
And the fresh orange juice. Oh man, that was fantastic.
Oh, yeah. No, it was very good. I was very impressed with how the with the food there, and I'm glad we went in early because that line was insane. That was the longest wait for a breakfast sandwich I think I've ever experienced.
Yeah, we were there almost an hour. So, yeah, that was pretty crazy.
And we found free parking. So, but anyway, like you were saying, we are talking about rotation cards, and where that's still a little bit a ways away. But like we mentioned at the top, we do have a new set coming out sooner than you might think. I think in like about a month's time, we will have Surging Sparks, and the second half of that set is being revealed in Japan right now. Supercharged Breakers, which features the Pikachu EX, the Hydreigon EX, and we got a couple more cards revealed today, George. So I would guess we can get each other's thoughts on these. If you guys are curious about what we're talking about, you guys check everything out at PokeBeach.com. That's where I'm reading these from. George, where would you like to start?
I guess we could start with the Miraidon and the Koraidon. Miraidon, pretty basic. I don't know. It's probably bulk, right?
Yeah, we'll read them, Adam. So
the Miraidon Lightning type, it is future, 120 HP, protection code, does 40 damage, but then during your opponent's next turn, prevent all damage done to your future Pokemon's attack from your opponent's Pokemon EX. If this Pokemon leaves the active spot, this effect stops working. So it doesn't work if you get bossed, which I think that's what makes it kind of mid, in my opinion. Cute effect, is it viable? Probably not. And then the second attack for lightning, colorless, Thunderclaws, if that's what it's going to be called, does 100 damage, and that's it.
Yeah, I'd say the appealing part about this is that this is the first single prize lightning type Miraidon we've gotten. The only other one we've gotten is the dragon type one. That sees play in Future Box. And I agree. I think that first attack would be pretty cool. if it wasn't completely borked by the fact that if you get switched out, the effect stops working. Which it's kind of weird to have to make that disclosure because there's like other effects that do that. Like say you're fighting against Reggie Drago and they use rolling iron. You know, it's basic not game knowledge of like, okay, once that Pokemon's removed from the active, the effect of the attack stops working. So I do think it's kind of funny they have to like kind of build that in there because otherwise this first attack would just be busted and like, you know, if your opponent's playing like, you know, Raging Bolt, they can't hit you. You know, except with like Sandy Shocks or something. But I agree. I think this card is bulk. However, I think this next card is a little bit more interesting. What do you think?
Yeah, I was going to leave this one up to you because I know you were pretty excited about this one.
Yeah, we have a new single prize fighting type Koraidon. It's a basic 130 HP fighting type Pokemon for a double colorless energy. You have Intense Assault, 30 damage, plus if any of your ancient Pokemon use an attack your last turn, does an extra 150. And then for fighting colorless, Hammer In, just a raw 110 damage. I think this card is incredibly interesting for a few reasons. Number one, you have a new single prize Koraidon you can throw in an ancient box. Number two, being a fighting type is really good right now because Tropicos is going to be very popular. This set's also going to have stuff like the Slacking EX in it. So like being able to hit for fighting type damage, and we're going to talk about it a little bit later once we get to the Louisville stuff. Being able to hit for fighting type damage is very, very good right now. And I think that cannot be understated enough. So I think having an easily power-upable Koraidon, this slides right into Ancient Box, slides right into any of the ancient decks that play ancient Pokemon like Raging Bolt. You know, you don't have to play like Sandy Shocks or Fluttermane. You can play a real, bona fide single prize Pokemon, that can kind of stand its weight. And being able to, you can also chain its second, effective its attack with this Pokemon. So you can do 30 the first turn, and then you're just doing 180 for the rest of the game. So I think that's very interesting. And I think this card's going to see a lot of play, in those sort of, as like the substitute, as for like the other single prize or ancient Pokemon you see in the format right now.
The only thing, and you were talking about this in the group chat, saying that this could be a replacement in Raging Bolt for Sandy Shocks. I think we already have the replacement for Sandy Shocks, and that's the Slitherwing technology. I'm a big fan. I'm personally a big fan because here's the problem, right? You need it in that matchup for Mimikyu, right? If you're playing Stall, if you're playing Guardy, and if for whatever reason you get stalled out, this attack here, even though it's colorless, it is better. The fact that you don't have to worry about using fighting energy. You could put double grass on it for all it matters in Raging Bolt. But the one caveat, you need another ancient Pokemon to have used an attack the previous turn. So if you get stalled out by Mimikyu and you just need the next turn to go up and get it, you're only doing 30. And that's where it's bad, right? Where it can be great, though, like you said, in Ancient Box, right? Because colorless could be really good for Professor Sada. You don't have to worry about playing fighting energy. You could just play it with darkness energy. That's perfectly fine. Could it be good in some kind of form of Roaring Moon? I also think so, right? Because you're also playing Sada. You can use the darkness energy. So giving Roaring Moon the much needed other second attacker. And I think that, Kyle, I was thinking about this last night. I think that's where it's going to be its best fit. Because if you think about it, how bad is it right now? And I know we're going to talk about Louisville meta, but if Roaring Moon had this card going into Louisville, I truly think Roaring Moon would be top of the tiered list right now. Because if I could go Roaring Moon and then go Tropicos, right, I have to Frenzy Gouging, right? So That being said, if I can go, okay, boss up, take a knockout, whatever, it's a single prize or whatever I have to do, and then follow up a turn where I could Sada into a Koraidon to take the following knockout on a Terapagos, that's where I think it's going to be best fit. But personally, I think Slitherwing, if you're playing Raging Bolt, that's your better option because you really only need that one prize attacker for Mimikyu in most cases, and then also to hit against some other colorless Pokemon late game as an extra attacker.
Yeah, I didn't think about the Roaring Moon angle of this. I actually do think that's very interesting. Like I said, that's a deck that like a lot of our constituents that like the deck. Shout outs to listener of the podcast and friend of the show, Harry Rachel. He even told us, is like, hey guys, I went 9-4 at this deck at a regional, and I think it stinks this format because Terapagos is it's just 230 is just like just an awkward enough number to hit. And you're never playing like the Baby Moon is fine if you're like hitting something for weakness or you have to hit through something small. But if you have to hit through something beefy, it's tough because you're never playing enough ancient cards to, really make that for that attack to really mean anything. Granted, it's not there for that, but like you never want to keep playing in a game state where you are making yourself an easy KO because you have to frenzy gouging to knock something out. So
right.
I think that's very curious. And like I said, I think any deck that runs a Sada engine has to at least consider this card. This is definitely going to be head and shoulders like the best. It's definitely the most playable Koraidon card we've gotten so far. So I think any sort of ancient support like that is very good. And I think this card is definitely going to see a lot of play. Being a fighting type has always been good in the TCG, and I think we've lacked some good fighting types the last couple of block releases, and I'm excited for this one. So this will be coming out on November. Yeah. You guys can look forward to that.
Fighting is so back right now. It's so back. It's like you ever see you obviously have seen why am I not the fashion movie with Ben Stiller, Zoolander. Sheesh. Hassel. He's so hot right now. Fighting Pokemon. So hot right now. That brings us to some other new cards that I know. It's not the EX that you're a fan of, but we are getting some new Charcadets, Armor Rouges, and Ceruledge. Ceruledge. Woo! Man, that was a tongue twister for me. With a secret art form on that as well. But the Charcadet, I will say, pretty mid. 80 HP, basic fire Pokemon. 1 fire, you're doing 10 damage. 80 HP, come on. We know 80 HP is not it. You got to be 70 under for Buddy Buddy Poffin. And then also 2 retreat costs. Like, you're just doing yourself no favors. And honestly, the artwork is pretty sick, which is like sad, Like, it's pretty cool looking.
Yeah, I think put this one on the list of like, I'm pretty sure almost every set has had a Charcadet card get printed in it.
Yeah.
We've had 60 HP Charcadets, 90 HP Charcadets. We've had 80 HP Charcadets, and now we have another one. Being 80 HP just stinks. You never because then you have to waste a great ball to find this guy, and it's just like, when are you ever going to want to do that?
Why do they just not want to give us a 70 HP for 1 fire that does 30 and 10 to yourself with 1 retreat? Just give it to us. That's what the people want.
We got close. The other one we get in the next sets, it does 20 for 1, which is like, all right, that's fine. Like,
you need 30 for Roaring Moon on frenzy gouging. That's the problem. That's what makes it better.
Yeah, but that deck stinks.
Roaring Moon? I don't know, man. I like the Roaring Moon. And then we have an Armor Rouge here for 140 HP, also a fire type, with a combustion that we have seen in the past, but this one is only colorless for 50 damage. Not terrible. And then the Crimson Blaster, it's just not, it wants to be good. Discard all fire energy from this Pokemon. This attack does 180 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. Don't apply weakness or resistance for bench Pokemon as usual. 180. It's a nice hit. Could take out a Mew, could take out a Squawkabilly sitting on the bench. But 3 fire energy, Kyle? What do you think? Is that too expensive? And you got to discard everything for that attack?
I don't hate this. because I look for cards like this, and I'm just like, does this synergize with anything? Magma Basin still exists, so getting fire energy out isn't that bad. You can play this with something like Mela if you choose to go that route as well. You can also play this with the other Armor Rouge, the Fire Off Armor Rouge. You can play it with that, where you can get a bunch of fire energy into play, and then you can use that attack. Like you said, 180 snipe, not bad, and you only have to discard the fire energy, which is like, if you're playing this within a fire deck, you're probably going to be playing a lot of fire energy anyway. So I don't know. I think this card is like right on the fringe of being like not bad. I think this will. I'm a big fan of the Armor Rouge EX deck. I like that deck a lot because it was tanky. You could do a lot of damage. It was very much like Centiskorch VMAX for those of you guys that played back then. For every fire energy you have on it, does like X amount more damage. So maybe you kind of throw one of these guys in there. You play like a 2-2 split of like this Armor Rouge and the Fire Off Armor Rouge, and then you have yourself a single prize attacker to kind of help you compete with those with those bigger single prize or those 2 prize beat stick decks. But I don't know how good it's going to be. I think it's like
so,
right there.
It's just so like needy. I feel like you got to play the other Armor Rouge, you got to play this Armor Rouge, you got to play Armor Rouge EX, right? But to that point, we also have a new Ceruledge. I can't say it. Can you say it, please?
Ceruledge.
Why can't I say that word? Yeah, I don't know. It just when I read it,
your brain wants to read Ceruledge. The actual pronunciation from the anime is Ceruledge. It's cerulean and edge.
Ceruledge. I'll read this one as well. 140 HP, just like the Armor Rouge, stage 1 attacker. And I'll read the second attack first because I think the first attack is what people are kind of hype about it. The second attack for Fire Colorless, Black Flame Slash, 160 damage during your next turn. You can't attack. Again, pretty mid attack, only doing 160. But for 1 colorless, has a great effect, no damage. But you as a Lugia bot, Kyle, this must make you have nightmares. Discard all special energy from each of your opponent's Pokemon.
Yeah, that's pretty scary. But I laugh and missed energy, sir. So because I got some. I want to give a shout out to Tuan Lei. They are one of the premier translators on the Twitter side of things, and Tuan had a conversation with someone in their Twitter mentions where someone's like, "Doesn't mist energy block this?" And it does. It'll still discard all the energy that isn't mist energy. So mist energy stays on. Everything else gets discarded because mist ignores the effective attacks. So I think that's how that interaction works. We'll see how it actually works out.
No, that can't be right.
Yeah, I would imagine that's how that works. Maybe. I'm not sure.
No,
I don't know if this would block everything or if
block everything. Yeah, it would have to block everything.
I mean, yeah, I guess you're right. I guess that's how that would work. Okay.
I mean, if it only left the mist on it, then the mist isn't saving you, really, at that point.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah, mist energy busted. So Lugia probably isn't going to worry about this too much. Where I think this is going to be busted is something like Terapagos. You're seeing a lot of these Terapagos lists. They're only playing the double colorless energies. So if your opponent spreads their energy thin, they attach a couple double turbo energies, you switch in his card to Ceruledge, you use Blaze Curse. That's 2 energies off the board in a deck that doesn't play really any special energy recovery. So in that regard, I think that attack's really good. I think my biggest concern with this is like it's gonna have a very niche usage. Like special energy is only really good in Lugia, and if you're not like if you're not doing anything to it, it doesn't really feel like it's worth the squeeze. So we'll see if this actually gets any real play. That being said, though, the SAR for this card, gorgeous. This might be the prettiest card I've ever seen.
Absolutely stunning card. Definitely going to be up there in price point, I would imagine. I don't know if you have.
This might be the chase card.
You might want to throw that up on the screen if you can for a second for the folks watching on YouTube.
Yeah, let's share the old screen here. Yeah, for those of you at home wondering what the card looks like, this is what we're looking at here.
I mean,
Absolutely gorgeous.
Just like the gas looking like background with all the different colors down in the area 0 under depths, got the terrors popping out there. I mean, it's just a beautiful art, kind of like a water paint type of painting there as well.
I gotta say, Ceruledge is like, I don't want to like get ahead of my britches yet, but like both Armor Rouge and Ceruledge are like very popular amongst the fan base, just because like aesthetically they look really cool. If you're a fan of the Mega Man games, they look like, you know, Mega Man Battle Network characters. And that game franchise is very close to my heart, so I'm obviously a huge fan. But Ceruledge in general is just like, it feels like they're setting this Pokemon up to be like one of like the new age cool mascot Pokemon. So I feel like they'll like keep printing cool cards for it. Whether it will be good or not is up to debate. But like, this Pokemon has the potential to do numbers like Lucario and Mewtwo, and you know, those like really popular like amongst the fan base Pokemon that everyone seems to love every generation. This card is gorgeous. I will find this card if it means whatever it takes, or if they love me, they'll put it in ETB, which they won't because we already know what the promo is for the ETB. But cool card,
yeah.
And you know, art wise, how good it'll be, you know, we'll see what happens. But otherwise, not bad. I'm a Ceruledge EX enjoyer, so maybe we can find a way to make that work in there.
Speaking of Ceruledge EX, and we're going to transition into a little bit more here. I'm kind of driving the bus today, aren't I? What am I doing?
Yeah, you're busting,
I'm feeling myself right now. I don't know. How am I doing? Am I driving all right?
You're doing good. You're a good driver. I trust you.
I definitely wanted to get into this too, because you had a tweet that went semi-viral as well. And we're going to talk about the one I did, but 19,000 views with 450 likes and 33 reposts on Ceruledge. There you go, got it. EX stellar type, saying that you can't wait for it to make it your whole personality. Would you like to expand on that, Kyle?
Yeah, listen, like, I gravitate to a very specific type of deck in the TCG. And for a while, I've been trying to figure out like what my favorite type of decks to play are. You know, some people really like single prize decks, low to the ground, force your opponent in most cases to take all 6 prizes. Some people like to play fast turbo decks that hit the ground running, and you can just outpace your opponent. I like to play stage 1 decks, essentially. You know, I really like Goldengo. I like being able to start a single prize board and then up my power level, you know, quicker than with having to play like a rare candy or something. And I just like those styles of decks. And so, like I said, Ceruledge, in terms of like, you know, really cool design Pokemon for this past generation, it's up there for me. It might be like, it's hard for me to choose. I really like Goldengo. I really like, you know, I like Meowscarada. You know, there's a lot of really cool Pokemon in this new generation that I'm a fan of. But design-wise, Ceruledge might be my favorite. So, and I think this card's legitimately going to be pretty good. I think it reads like a good card. Now that I've seen the deck in practice, you know, shout-outs to Andrew Mahone on Tricky Gym. You know, he made a whole video about it where he was playing some games with the deck. And it shows that it can at least function. At the bare minimum, the deck works. Which is exciting for me. So I can't wait to just play a red-colored Goldengo. It's the same. It's literally the same thing. Like, you know that meme from The Office where, you know, it's like corporate wants you to find the difference between these 2 pictures, and Pam's like, they're the same picture. It's literally it. You know, Goldengo is just, you know, Goldengo. Ceruledge is red Goldengo, except you need the energy in your discard instead of your hand. And this tweet did an obscene amount of numbers over the weekend, which was kind of crazy. It got almost 20,000 views and impressions of what, in my opinion, listen, I've been a creature of the internet for way too long. I am terminally online, and it's a problem, and I'm trying to get better at it. So I've had a hit tweet every now and then. This was I was just like, this is a throwaway tweet, for my friends who played a Pokemon TCG. Like, no one's gonna give a crap about this. I was wrong. People love Ceruledge, Edge, and it blew up. So it was pretty funny.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good card, man. I think, for what it's worth, is it as good as Goldengo? Probably not, right? Because you're not drawing.
No, probably not.
But the cool thing is you could play it in Charizard. Not really, because you're not going to have enough energy, actually.
Nah, you don't. This deck is going to exist in its own archetype. I actually have seen some Japanese lists where they play Goldengo and this together.
I was going to say, it's probably good for the mirror for Goldengo.
It's fine. I think having fire-type attackers is bad for Goldengo because it does take away the perk of being like an awkward number to hit. And I think being water weak is also kind of bad right now for Ceruledge, especially if like Palkia is going to continue to be a thing. So, and also like it's going to suffer from the same problems that like all the 2-prize beat stick decks have. Is that like how do you get around Mimikyu? How do you get around Cornerstone? This deck can get around Cornerstone because it doesn't have an ability. But like, how do you get around like the locking Pokemon that don't take damage? So that aspect of it's going to take some work. So it depends on how much single prize support you can kind of squeeze into something like this. But
yeah,
I think it reads like a good enough card. So I think it functions at the bare minimum.
Could be part of the new hot cheese.
Could be a hot cheese component, but yeah,
George,
have
a hot cheese situation here.
I love me some hot cheese. I love me some spinach dip from Applebee's. So.
Oh, you do love it. You do.
Love me some spin dip. Now, George, you are far less online than I am. You are an adult.
Yes.
So you're an adult that works a lot, and you're not nearly on Twitter as much as I am as a person. And you yourself got dipped into some silliness this weekend as well, where you made a singular tweet, and we were talking about cards we think are going to be good, going forward. You made a tweet about how Greninja EX is a meta breaker. And why don't you talk about how your phone has been overheating all day?
Man, it's got 44,000 views right now. And it's just like insane to me because this started in the group chat, right? And I was like, I'm convinced that Greninja EX is the play for Louisville because I can't find a world where you go to Louisville and it's not, you look left, you look right, there's going to be a Terapagos in sight. Like, don't you agree? There has to be, right? Like down the row.
We'll talk about it. I think, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we could just transition right into it from here because we're talking about what the meta is going to be for Louisville. And we talk about the deck Harrell played. He plays a 1 Froakie and a 1 Greninja EX line with 4 rare candy, and you're pretty much playing Duskull, Dusclops, and Dusknoir, heavy count of Dusknoir with Palkia, right? Throwing in this 1 Greninja EX, I think single-handedly won that tournament for Harrell. Because like we said, in that cup, Terapagos was everywhere. I cannot sit here and think that this weekend, when I'm sitting at my couch, throwing on the regional stream, the first stream game is going to be Terapagos EX. Like it has to be. Like it's going to be everywhere. It's going to pop up and it's going to say, "Oh, here's the meta share, 30% Terapagos." Like I'm calling it right now, 30% Terapagos. Like we've seen 27. We've seen like 27% for Zard, for Lugia, for Gardevoir. This is good. Terapagos is going to break the 30% mark because there's so many different ways to play it. You can play it with Duskull, which you mentioned before. You think it's the best way it's going to be done. I'm in agreement there with you. But you also seen people play it crazy ways. You're seeing it like the base way with the Bouffalants, just like the straightforward way. You're seeing it with Palkia. like there's just so many ways to play it. I told you that I went to that one cup. The guy was playing freaking Iron Leaves in there. Like, like there's just you can fit whatever you want into Tropicos. It almost feels a lot like Arceus back in the day. Like you can like kind of Tropicos box, same way you could do an Arc box. It's because of the Noctiles, so right? That being said, if there's a lot of colorless, right? What is the best Pokemon right now? One single water energy. Shinobi Blade does 170 plus little just like bonus about the attack. You go grab whatever card you want out of your deck. Like, it's pretty broken. And then if you want to pull off to the Mirage Barrage, discard 2 energy from this Pokemon, and it does 120 damage to 2 opponent's Pokemon. Now, will I see there being a Greninja EX straightforward deck? No, because I think you lose to all the big basics. I don't think you can keep up. I don't see that being a possibility. But someone on this post also put out there a Greninja EX in a Terapagos deck, and I was like, this is very interesting. Why? Because I think Terapagos is going to be the meta in Louisville. And if you're teching for the mirror, you're probably going to have a good day. So yeah, the tweet, it went absolutely insane. I've never seen anything like it. It's hilarious. I keep telling you, I'm like, dude, what is happening here? I'm going nuts. My phone doesn't stop buzzing all day. I had to mute Twitter. I'm trying to reply to as many people as possible. And, it's cool because I do like the engagement. I do like that I'm growing my Twitter presence, now that we have the podcast and everything. But truthfully, in my heart, I do believe Greninja EX is going to be the meta breaker for Louisville regionals.
Yeah, I think I said it in our group chat. I think George, discovering how the Twitter algorithm works was probably how cavemen reacted when they discovered fire for the first time. He's like, "This is crazy! Look at this! Look at the numbers on this." It's like it was very like old man on the lawn, But it was very, again, me, I'm terminally online. I'm a loser, so that's why. But I agree with a lot of what you said. I think looking at where Greninja got worked into this again. Grafton Roll piloted Palkia Dusknoir with the Greninja EX to a 9th place asymmetrical, cut finish at Baltimore. I agree with a lot of what you said there. And I think, the card has proven to have future-proofed itself very nicely into the format, given how popular Terapagos is going to be. I don't agree that Terapagos is going to be 30% of the meta, because that would mean that Terapagos is like Lugia V-Star. You're playing this deck, or you have to beat this deck type numbers. And I don't think anything's ever going to put up those numbers again. I think you look at stuff like, Reggie Drago or like Charizard at 25%. Like those decks were like head and shoulders the best decks of their formats. And I think it's hard to ignore that. I don't think Terapagos is like as good as that. And also, like, these regionals are so big now, those numbers are going to go down in scale because not everybody's playing for World Invites. So people are just going to show up playing what they like to play. I agree that Terapagos is going to be probably the number one deck going in to Louisville. I think it'll be at more of like a 17, 18% clip. Maybe it'll hit 20. But I think there's just a lot of good decks in the format right now. I still think decks like Raging Bolts are criminally slept on. That deck just got second at Peru. So I think that deck is like still criminally slept on by people. Decks like Reggie Drago and Charizard, I think, are going to continue to be good. And Lugia, I think, people are going to continue to play those cards too. But I do think going into Louisville, you have to tech for Terapagos, or, you're throwing.
Yeah. I don't think Charizard is going to do well at all at Louisville. I think it's positioned very, very poorly right now. I think everybody has been trying to beat Charizard for so long that it's, quite frankly, not great. That being said, though, I think Charizard does have a great matchup going into Raging Bolt, which I do think would be the next highest deck played, because that deck is broken. There's something wrong with it. Someone should have a look at it. And yeah, it's really quite impossible to whiff an attack with Raging Bolt unless you just don't get a Raging Bolt out. And it's kind of crazy, like, especially with Pheasant Deputy in the format. And Greninja, like, if you get Iono'd, you're like, yeah, sure, fine, Iono me. Pheasant Deputy, I mean, I play so much energy. I'm going to Greninja. You play 4 Night Stretcher. We get that back. Like, you play 4 Earthen Vessel. You always have energy. You play Pal Pad. You play 3 Poke Gears. You always find Sada when you need it. It's absolutely broken, busted, insane. And I can absolutely see Raging Bolt being the winner of Louisville. And quite frankly, I think it's going to be. And I would put that as my bold prediction right now on camera, on stream, in this podcast. Raging Bolt will be the winner of Louisville Regional Tournament.
Not a bad call. I think Raging Bolt is poised to do very well. You know, it's been on a very good streak, and according to Limitless, it's the 3rd most played deck in terms of championship points right now. So it's definitely very much in the front of everyone's mind. I think Tropicos is going to be very popular as well. How I think though, until death do us part, I think Lugia is still going to be a deck that people are going to have to consider. It's hard to ignore the run that Rahul Reddy's gone on, like we've talked about last week. Rahul finished in finals. He's lost like 4 sets, since he's been playing Lugia. I think it's no secret he's going to be playing Lugia going into Louisville. So
right.
I think it's going to be one of those things where like, are enough people willing to tech for Lugia, to where it's going to make a difference? And my opinion is no, because I think enough people are going to be teching around Terapagos in general that Lugia is just going to get stuck in a crossfire. And people are going to play stuff like Temple. They're going to play stuff like Enhanced Hammer. And like even Temple is like a very like, you need it to stick for a turn. And unless your opponent doesn't attack with Lugia to take out the stadium, it's not going to stick. So it just really just depends on the instance where it's going to happen. So I think Lugia will like convert, it'll be in the top 5 decks played. It'll probably convert pretty around the same. And I wouldn't be surprised to see like 1 or 2 make it in the top 8 or whatever Top Cut's going to be. I think things like Gardevoir and Charizard might be on fraud watch. We'll see. Is there a deck that you think that might be a surprise to some people this weekend? Like, what would your dark horse pick be?
I was gonna say I think Gardevoir will be a surprise. I think you will see it in Top Cut. It's always good. And if you're a good Gardevoir player, you will make your way there. Do I think if you're a fair weather player, someone, that's not a typical day 2 person, you're kind of on the fringe, do not play Gardevoir. You will have a really bad time. But if you're a good Gardevoir player and you've been playing the deck for a while, yeah, it can get there. There's some interesting things it can do right now. I think Mimikyu Wall is just really good in general. I think Stall could also see a part here because Terapagos doesn't play a lot of switches, only plays 1. Raging Bolt only plays 1. And I don't think there's going to be a lot of Roaring Moon. Roaring Moon's pretty bad right now with so much Duskull, Dusknoir, and Dusclops shenanigans. Frenzy Gouging feels really bad, and quite frankly, if there's going to be a lot of Terapagos, if there's going to be a lot of Raging Bolt, you're going to have to Frenzy Gouging. If you have to Frenzy Gouging, it's going to be tough to win because you're going to get Duskull, and those 4 prize turns could really add up fast. I think one other list that I could see going is the list that Harrell played. That Palkia kind of Dusclops, Dusknoir. I guess it's just Palkia Dusknoir is what everybody's calling it now.
Yeah, it's a Palkia Dusknoir deck. That's basically what it boils down to.
Yeah, I think that deck you could definitely see 1 or 2 breaking through. The problem is, have you played a couple games with it?
I've played it, yeah.
It's a sequencing puzzle. Like you need to know you need to know how to pilot that ship. Yeah. It's not just for anybody. It's
not an easy deck to play.
No. But again, the same thing as Guardy, right? If you've been playing the deck, if you know how to play the deck, you know the lines, you know the sequencing, you absolutely will get through because that deck does beat Terapagos pretty big. I just can't get past the point that Terapagos, like you said earlier, if you're not teching to beat that, you're not going to have a chance in this tournament. It would be funny? A little Gallade action in Guardy to deal with Terapagos.
Oh, God.
What is it? What is it called? Buddy catch buddy. What is it?
Buddy catch, I think is what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. Because also, that's pretty good. You could attach onto the Curlia, right, with Psychic Embrace, evolve into Gallade. I believe it does like 160 or 170, so it's knocking out Terapagos. Plus, when you every turn, you could go get a supporter. You can also Iono that turn, too, when you do that. So, I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just thinking crazy things. Maybe I'm just really hyped over fighting Pokemon right now, but it has crossed my mind.
I don't think those decks are going to be bad calls. Again, I think Palkia as a concept is still like a little slept on right now. Whether it's like Palkia Terapagos, Palkia Dusknoir, I think those decks are going to be played. I think the really good players have acknowledged that those decks are good, and those players are going to play those decks. So I think they definitely have a place in the meta right now, just because Dusknoir is busted. A deck that I think there's 2 cards that I think are slept on right now. I'll give you a deck and I'll give you a card.
I'm sorry. The Buddy Catch is a psychic type. Don't listen to me. I'm silly.
Oh, are you thinking about like the other one that like attacks for fighting damage?
That thing rotated a long time ago.
Yeah, that card stinks anyway. So
yeah, no Gallade, no Gallade technology. I questioned myself as soon as I said it. It does do 160, but no, it's not.
You also can't accelerate energy to non-psychic types anyway. So.
Well, you could do it on the Curlia. So if it was...
Oh, you're right. You're okay. I got you now. I got you. Yeah, could have been. Right. We were close.
They could have given it to Guardy. Yeah.
I will say, one deck that I think is maybe positioned to be okay right now, I think Regidrago is still very much, a factor that you should consider. It does have technology, I think, that can handle the Terapagos. I think it's finally Haxorus' time to shine in that deck. You can knock out things. If they play the double turbo energies, you can bring down the axe, knock it out for free. And if they're playing the energy that the version uses basic energy, you Dragon Pulse for 230. So and you don't have to lost on your energies. So I think and I'm seeing some packages like try to weave in like a thin 1/1 line of Noctowl, Hoothoot. And in my opinion, I think Noctowl as a concept is still very underexplored in the format right now. Jewel Seeker is insane. Those Palkia Terapagos decks that play the Noctowls. If you go first and you get the set up, you can do irreparable damage to your opponent's board, on that second turn. It's insane what you're able to pull off. So I think that deck that card in general is still very much needs to be worked out because people, I think there's a lot of technology that needs to be ironed out still. But I think Regidrago, not a bad choice. And I think if you're playing Noctowl, you might find yourself, at the high tables.
What other basic Terra type Pokemon are out there?
Not a lot. It's the Ogerpons. It's I think that's pretty much. I don't think there's any other real basic ones. I think it's really only Terapagos and the Ogerpons.
Do you think someone's going to play some crazy cornerstone control with Jewel Seeker?
Maybe because those cards
it's definitely coming.
Well, no. Well, I don't think you need to because the point of those decks is to set up walls where your opponents can't hit you. So if you're benching stuff that can get gusted up and knocked out, that doesn't help your game, in my opinion. So I think, in terms of other basic Terra Pokemon, there's the Ice Cube. There's a bunch of just really bad ones. So the only ones that actually matter are the Ogerpons and Terapagos right now, at the very least. So
Mewtwo.
And Mewtwo, yeah, but that card stinks. And it's only going to see playing one. It's only going to see playing one type of archetype, which might not even be that good this weekend. So,
what about a Jewel Seeker Water Pond deck with Bax Caliber.
Sure, but you're still trying to set up a stage 2, which is like not good right now.
All right,
I think those.
we'll sleep on it.
I think like those cards just work better as support and like not like the whole engine. So that's my opinion on the whole thing. But yeah, so you're locking in Raging Bolt as your winner for Louisville.
Correct. How about you?
I'm gonna lock in Lugia. I think it's Lugia's time to shine one more time. So we'll go with that. But I think there'll be 3 Terapagoses in top 8.
So you think it Tropicos, and what Lugia. What's the other 3?
Let's see. Raging Bolt. Let's see. We'll do Raging Bolt. We'll do a Gardevoir. A Palkia Dusknoir. And what's a good last one? Give me another Tropicos. Give me 3 in top 8. That's fine. In top 10.
That's 4. So you got 4 Tropicos, 2 Lugia, a Raging Bolt. That's 7. A Gardevoir. That's 8. You don't want to throw you got to throw Regidrago in there. Say 3 Tropicos.
All right, that's fine. We'll go for Regidrago in there. That's fine.
Yeah, so 3 Tropicos, 2 Lugia, 1 Turtle Dove, and a Partridge. All right.
Too soon.
Yeah. We're still in Halloween. I think that kicks us to our final segment here, though, Kyle. If you want to introduce it.
Yep, we're doing everyone's favorite segment, Squawk or Seize, the segment where me and George will go back and forth. We'll talk about whether we like something so much we're going to squawk to the heavens about it, or we want to seize it and put a stop to it. Keeping with the theme of this month of scary stuff, we are doing candy. It is Halloween month. I love candy. I'm sure George also loves candy. What's your take? Do you like sweet stuff? Are you a sweets guy?
Yeah, I'm more of a savory guy for sure. But definitely can see me munching down. I do like a nice candy bar at the end of the night sometimes. Sometimes I do a pint of Ben & Jerry's, non-dairy though. Non-dairy frozen treat. It's not ice cream. It's a non-dairy frozen treat.
Yeah, no, that's not good. So we will kick that. So we will kick things off with the candy Squawk or Seize. George, you want to go first?
Yeah, I'm going to give you my favorite candy. I was about to say what my favorite candy was. I was like, no, George, save it for the Squawk and Seize. And we'll just say it right now. Reese's Peanut Butter Cups.
I'm squawking all day, baby. Yes. I came around very late to peanut butter as a concept. As a kid, I hated peanut butter.
Oh, like
I only had jelly sandwiches. I never had peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. It wasn't until I got to I was very late in my life. It wasn't until I was in the 8th grade to when I had peanut butter for the first time. It changed my life. And then you told me peanut butter and chocolate are a thing. Sign me up, brother. I will. A pack of Reese's Cups hates to see me coming.
Real quick, chunky or smooth?
I'm a chunky guy.
Oh,
like a little bite.
Oh yeah. Chunky is. People say smooth. Your brain is also smooth.
All right, that's it. That's good. All right, so I'm squawking Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. I will return the favor and give you my favorite candy, and this is probably the worst quality about me as a human. So I've been told to by people close to me. Are we squawking or seizing Tootsie Rolls?
Oh, Tootsie Roll. Do the Tootsie Roll. What's the song? What's the Tootsie Roll song? I don't know. I don't know where's the songs. I know it's a song. I don't know what song. Tootsie Rolls. You know what Tootsie Rolls I really do enjoy? Like the different flavored Tootsie Rolls.
Oh, the fruity ones?
Yeah. Well, even just, no, you know which one I like the best out of them? Like the vanilla one that's with the blue wrapper. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know what I'm picking up. You're picking up what I'm putting down. We're squawking Tootsie Rolls. I mean, come on, they're Tootsie Rolls. But I will say, though, they are hard to eat, and they do, kill your jaw. And if you eat too much, I do get a headache pretty fast when I eat Tootsie Rolls. So you gotta be a little, strategic while you're eating the Tootsie Rolls because it could go south real quick. So,
See,
all
I'm constantly ridiculed by my peers for my enjoyment of Tootsie Rolls. I love them. I've always loved them since I was a kid. They're my favorite candy to eat. Like again, they're tough on your jaw, but again a shareable bag of Tootsie Rolls hates to see me coming. I can eat a whole bag.
yeah. The also they have like the extra long ones too. You like those ones?
Oh yeah, like the ones you got to like Blockbuster, like that you have to like cut off with a knife. Oh my god! Come on, brother, sign me up.
You only need one then, right? Less.
That's all you need. Yes, sir.
Really controversial, especially around Halloween time. You know I'm about to ask you. The good old candy corn.
I hate candy corn. I'm seasoned.
Oh,
I hate
this man.
I can't do it. I can't do it, man. I just can't. You're handing me candy corn. You're giving your base. I'm going to a party and you're giving me RC Cola when I ask for Coke. I just can't do it.
Oh, you know what I actually really like too, and I always think they like kind of taste like wax, but I still like them anyway. The candy corn that look like pumpkins. You know what I'm talking about?
I know. Okay, I know which ones you're talking about.
Because you can like bite them in half. Yeah. And then also with the candy corns, you always bite off the yellow tip first for some reason, or the white tip first. Never knew why you do that, but you always do that. You always eat it like I don't know. Candy corn's fun. I like candy corn. So we got our first C's there on candy corn.
I just don't like it. Like I will eat peppermint patties before I eat.
I love peppermint patties. I think I like all candy. I think I'm not going to seize anything.
All right, I'll see if I can give you one. I'll give you a seizable one. I am going to give you another one of my personal favorites. We're going to go with Nerds. We're squawking to seizing Nerds.
Just classic Nerds?
Yeah, like the I'm
or
talking
Nerds
like
franchise.
No, if we're going for the context of this argument, we're trick or treating. You're getting like the little tiny box of Nerds that you can take like in a shot glass.
So, if this was like 20 years ago, and those were the only Nerds that still existed, I would squawk this. But since we have the new technology of Nerds clusters and Nerds rope, they are far and galaxies above regular Nerds. So for those reasons, I hate to do this to you, Kyle. I gotta seize regular Nerds. They're just not like now. If you handed me Nerds, I'm like, I want Nerds clusters or I want Nerds rope. Nerds rope goes so hard too, man. It's like eating a Slim Jim just full of candy, like you're in like a Disney movie. Instead of getting a Slim Jim, you're just chomping down on the Nerds rope. Yeah, so I mean, regular Nerds, they wouldn't do it for me.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I shout out to the gummy clusts. The gummy clusts are superior.
They might be goated the best candy out there right now.
They're really good. I love me some Nerds. That's a candy that's very comforting to my soul as a person. So we love Nerds in this house. All right, what else you got?
Oh, it's my turn.
Yeah.
Whoops. All right. How about I'm big on chocolate, man. Like I'm a chocolate guy. One that I always really enjoy. It's a real basic one. I got two actually. We're doing one more after this. We're doing four.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna go with this one. Now I'm gonna go with this because I like this one better. 100 grand.
That's an interesting one. I'm gonna seize it though because that is not one of that's not one that I am. I'm sorry. Listen, in terms of like the hierarchy of chocolate bars, right? I love me some chocolate bars. There's like 3 other chocolate bars I'm reaching for before I reach for the 100 grand. I'm sorry. It's just me. It's just me personally.
I'd go for the 100 grand over a lot of things.
You might be the only person I've ever met that said that.
I like 100 grand. Can I say? I like it. I like it because it's got like the caramel and it's got like the nougat in it, and then it's also got the little crispies on top. It's just like a umami bomb of chocolate candy bar. I think I think my palate is just a little more refined than most people. I can I can appreciate a good 100 grams. You know.
Yeah,
I guess I just have high class. Yeah.
All right, I'll give you a good one. And by good one, I mean a weird one, because you just gave me a weird one. This is a candy that I personally enjoy a lot, and I know a lot of people don't, like most things in life. Are we squawking or seizing the Charleston Chew?
That is a bizarre one, brother. Charleston Chew. No, screw those things. They stink, dude. Like, I think they come in like the same Halloween bag as like the almond joys, and those things suck too, bro. Like, if you're giving that out at Halloween time, you're just a criminal and you should be put in jail and locked away. You like Charleston shoes? You made fun of me for 100 grams? What is wrong with you? No, seize, bro, seize. What the hell? What's your deal?
Look, man, I can't explain it, but a chocolate Charleston Chew just goes so hard. Like, I like to get him when I go to the movie theaters. I give him you do like the box, and you like pour them out. And you're like little nougats that big. I don't know, man. I'm weird. I like Tootsie Rolls. Like, I'm a weirdo. I'm a freak. What do you want from me?
I gotta look up a Charleston Chew right now. Yeah, dude, and it's so ugly looking. like the worst packaging of all time. Like, nothing about it screams like, yeah, let me get a Charleston Chew right now. Oh man,
I don't appreciate the slander.
I apologize, man. You're a good guy either way, even though you like Charleston Chew like an ass.
All right, give me your last one. What do you got?
All right, okay. I feel like we got to go really unique and weird here. Followed up with Charleston Chew. You know what? How about this? No, we did so much chocolate. We only did one. We really only did two non-chocolates. You know what? I'm really curious if you like these ones. I got to see what they're called. Hold on. You know what? No, we won't go there. Oh yeah, we're gonna go there. Do you even know what these are? The Good and Plenties.
Oh my god!
Those are the white and pink ones.
Oh my god! I cannot believe.
That's not real. That's not real. No one's squawking that. Those things are atrocious, though. We've all eaten
those. Look like medicine. They taste terrible.
I do feel like I'm eating Pepto-Bismol when I eat.
Yeah. But are you my grandmother? Like, geez.
Okay. I'm gonna switch it up a little bit here. All right. We're gonna say Starburst, right? But caveat: are you squawking or seizing first the red ones? Or no, are you squawking? How about this or that? Squawk one, seize the other one. Red or pink?
Oh man, gun to my head. That stinks.
Yeah, there you go. See, I came with the heat there.
I had to take the red. Red's my favorite color. I had to take the red one.
No, everybody knows the pink is the best. Honestly, it was a trick question. You're supposed to smush them together and make a little ball out of them, and you squawk both of them.
You're not wrong. You're totally not wrong.
You can't go wrong.
I love Starburst. They're so
Starburst
good.
are so good. Oh, fantastic.
All right, I'll give you a fun one for the last one, because this is personally one, and when I'm on a road trip, this is in the car with me. Squawk versus sour gummy worms.
I knew you were going to say that. I've been in the car with you enough that sour gummy worms, goated. Probably one of the best, and like Sour Patch Kids, any sour candy in general. I can't believe we went for the last one for sour candy, to be honest.
I love sour candy. I'm a Leo. We stink.
Yeah, sour candy is actually my favorite out of everything. I'm a fraud. We're frauds. There you go.
Gun to your head, what's your favorite sour candy?
Have you ever had like the sour straws, but like there's two brands. There's one that's actually sour and there's one that's not.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about, though, right?
Yes.
I don't know what the difference is, but when you see them, you know which one is which. The blue raspberry flavored, those sour straws, those are the best, hands down.
I'm a big fan of some sour Skittles. I go ham for a bag of sour Skittles.
What's your take on Warheads?
I feel like it's like novelty. It's like Jaeger bombs. Like you don't actually like get them for the enjoyment of it. You get it for the shock factor.
Man,
I'll eat them, but like I'm not gonna go on my way to eat Warheads. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, the ones that I'm talking about that stink are the sour punch ones. No, those are the good ones. Are those the good ones or the bad ones? Those are the good ones. The sour punch, sour straws. Those are the good ones.
Yes.
Especially the blue raspberry. Man, I think we could do a whole podcast just on candy. What do you think?
We might be able to run this back next week. We'll see how we feel. But we'll see how many ideas we run out of. Yeah, that's going to be it for this week for us, folks. Again, we thank you guys for joining us. George, let the people know where they can find you and what you got going on. So.
Yeah, I just reached over the 100 followers mark on the X website, or formerly known as Twitter. I'm at the century mark, Kyle, so I'm a big deal now. I had a viral-esque tweet. So check me out there for some more controversial stuff. I had a lot of people hating on Greninja EX. I didn't really care that much, so you didn't hurt my feelings. If that was your goal, you're not going to faze me. Also, I just got a new laptop, so I'll be a lot more active on PTCGL. Would love to run some games. I want to play some people. I envision one day us having a listener tournament, and that would be cool. But PNY BTL champ, as you see below there. How about you, Kyle? Where can we find you?
I'm a Koopa NJ across platforms. I host podcasts. I stream sometimes, and I'm all over the place. So look for me at your local card shop. Like we said at the top of the show, we had a lot of fun going to New York. And I think, maybe once a month we're going to try to find a cup within a drivable area just to, appease us both as we travel and grind and meet some new people. So I think that's something we can look forward to.
Yeah. It's what it's all about, to be honest.
I agree. But, that's going to be it for us this week, folks. Have yourselves a wonderful rest of your week, and we'll see you next time. Good night, everyone.
Awesome manana.